recording or the video.
Okay, I'll let the guest in as well. Oh, they just left.
So welcome to our Section 223 committee hearing today. East Gippsland Shire Council will live stream, record and publish this Section 223 hearing via webcasting to enhance its accessibility to the broader East Gippsland community. The recording will also be archived and available for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate times during the hearing, any submitter that addresses the committee will have their image, comments and submission recorded. Please ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Committee members are reminded that the purpose of this hearing is for them to hear submissions and seek clarification from officers or submitters where required. Except with the Mayor's approval, no questions should be invited or taken from submitters or members of the public gallery. Issues will not be debated. So, Mr CEO, do we have any declarations of conflict of interest today?
None have been received, Mr Mayor.
Good, thank you. So, I can now pass on for the brief background of the purposes of the hearing to Ms Liz Collins, our Finance Manager. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, today's hearing, Section 223 hearing, is in relation to the submissions on the draft budget 2021. There have been 4 submissions received, and just to note in the briefing paper, there was one error in the date. It said the submissions closed in June and it was meant to be July. Just to note that, we'll just correct that. So just apologies for that. So there has been, as I said, 4 submissions received, and 2 of the submitters have requested to speak today at the Section 223 hearing. All the documentation is attached, as well as a brief summary of the 4 submissions received, together with officers' responses to all of the matters raised in the submissions. So the submitters will speak to their submission today, and then following Council hearing the submissions, then the hearing committee will convene to formulate recommendations for the Council meeting on the 25th of August, where Council will be considering adopting the draft budget with or without amendment. So thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Collins. So, Vanessa, do we have the 2 people online that wish to...
We have one at the moment, which is Ms Hodge, and I'll just try and get the other back online.
So, is Ms Hodge from, is she Buchan Neighbourhood House or the Buchan Gallanapian Districts Renewal Association?
That I'm uncertain. Are you aware, Liz?
Well, I can't. Is Ms Hodge going to be visible? Oh, there she is. Hello.
Yes, yeah, she just popped up.
Kath, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's Kate, and
oh,
I'm
Kate.
from the
Katie, yes.
Buchan Gallanapian District Renewal Association.
Okay, so you wish to speak, of course, and just to remind you that if you could keep your presentation to no more than 5 minutes, and well, there is no previous speaker, so there's no ground to go over. You have the floor.
No worries. I guess part of my rationale in requesting to speak today was surrounding the budget that's been rolled out and the great changes that have taken place in East Gippsland as a result of fires that occurred in December and January. And to my knowledge, there wasn't a great deal of amendment or change in those budget documentations to take into account some of the further marginalisation of some of the small rural areas that have been heavily impacted by fire across this period. I've done a little bit of research and homework and found out that over the last 8 years, since 2012, the total expenditure for our valley, the catchment of Buck and Galandabing districts in this area, if you take away roads and bridges, is under 40,000 that we've received in this area on expenditure in our catchment. Our community organisations have taken part in 2 community planning processes with council, one of which council signed off on, second of which they didn't adopt. However, we undertook the process in good faith, looking to improve livability, prosperity, wellbeing, etc. Following the process that council set out, however, there's been very little. You could say that one footpath that's been put in as a result of that process at a cost of $34,000, which was partially done to the request of the community plan, is the only thing that's come out of the last 8 years of community planning. My concern is that we see our current council taking up a policy-based, very safe position which deflects a lot of the responsibilities around funding and helping to upkeep some of the assets that we have in our community. And we need to look at trying to form a genuine partnership going forward with council that will allow us to try and realise some of the things that we strive for throughout our wonderful Shire, which is that health, happiness, sustainability and prosperity. And at this point, we are not seeing any of the reflection of those things happening in our community, even though we've undergone those processes that the council has put up for us to do. In going forward, I think we need the council to commit to supporting us in this space and to entering into a genuine partnership where we seek to try and not only maintain but act on the betterment for our community. If you look at the things that there's been expenditure on in our community, none of those relate to positive health and wellbeing. There's been zero expenditure in our community to support us with that livability, that wellbeing and that ongoing prosperity. And we continue to see a shrinking population and a challenge in maintaining our economic health and wellbeing in this space. I think that we're looking for not just a safe and conservative position from our council, but we're looking for a council that's going to lead in a time that's unlike any other that we've been in, and that's going to push to try and support our communities who have been really heavily impacted by bushfire and COVID, and help us to thrive. So I'm hoping that as a result of this, you might do something about looking at supporting some of our marginalised communities that continue to be marginalised further by both natural disaster and pandemic now. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kate. Thank you very much for that, and well done for keeping just inside the 5 minutes. So, Vanessa, do we have our second speaker?
Yes, Rhonda Coates should be on the line now. Rhonda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
There you go, Mr. Mayor.
Welcome, Rhonda. Have you been getting audio of the proceedings so far?
I had a little bit of trouble getting in. I heard the end of Kate's talk, and a lot of what my concerns were her concerns as well. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to put my ideas forward and so forth. Just very disappointed again in the budget draft, which I have been following since way back each year, and there's never anything much allocated for Buchan. The only 2 things that I could find this coming budget is the relocation of the Galandabing Waste Facility, which has been on last year's, and the upgrade of Buchan Transfer Station, which has been on last year's. I think my main concern is nothing's allocated for new initiatives as per our last 5-year plan going from 2017 to 2021. There are a couple of items on there that have been in the pipeline since that plan started. One of those was the dump point for the RV camping, and another one which the council had, we have had some collaboration, but it's stopped. It seems to have gone nowhere, although it was agreed that, you know, it was a good idea to have it put in. And the other one was a sealed pathway from the footbridge in the John Flynn Reserve to the main street, which is used a lot. Now, they're in our plans, and I guess my main concern is how does the East Gippsland Shire use these place plans for, do they use them for their budget draft? Because it doesn't seem to be happening. And, you know, we're just not getting anywhere with them. And even this, I think the last time we got something from our plan was way back in 2016-17 budget, which was the interpretive signage for Buchan. And over the years, up till now, nothing on those plans has come out as a new initiative and been listed by the council in their budget drafts. And the other thing is, how do we get across, do these plans just sit in offices somewhere? Do the people who are the staff who these plans go to, do they have any input into the budget draft? And yeah, I guess that's my main problem, and the fact that we don't have any councillor doesn't seem to be given the job of batting for this district, who keeps an eye on these things, and the engagement with the community does not seem to be happening either. We do our plans, and then nothing really happens after that because there doesn't seem to be any engagement with the community before these budgets to see what our needs are and our concerns are. And I guess that's just my main, they're my main points. So am I still on mine?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. I don't have any other, I guess, any other concerns except that, you know, it's a bit disappointing year after year when we don't see these things coming in. Are they hidden, or, you know, how does the East Gippsland Shire use these community plans in their planning going forward? And if nothing's put aside for the budgets for these, then they're not going to happen. We're a small community, and as you know, we've got a lot of things going on up here. So that's it for me.
Well, good. Thank you. Thank you for your efforts in coming forward and making that submission. Obviously, this is all duly recorded, and what you've spoken about is, you know, something for us to discuss further, and to Kate as well. Thank you. So that's the only two people who wish to speak. Is that correct, Vanessa?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so perhaps I could now hand back to Ms. Collins to carry on with the proceedings.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Following now hearing the two submitters speak, Council will conclude this meeting, and then we will go into a further discussion to discuss the submissions received and obviously formulate any recommendations through to the council meeting for the 25th of August. So in terms of the submission hearing, that now process is now completed, unless I guess there was any questions from the councillors to the submitters. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Good, thank you, Ms Collins. So the submitters are still there online. Were there any questions for those submitters from councillors?
Sorry, Mr Mayor, just wanted to thank the submitters for making their time to come and talk to us today and present their case. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Rotino. So for the other councillors present, I take the silence as a no. And
Mr Mayor, I'm happy to just simply thank, like Councillor Rotino, thank the two speakers and just to re-emphasise the importance of the community plans and to thank the second speaker in particular for really pushing home to us the value of those plans. It's not lost on me, her message at all, and it applies across the wider Shire with all the smaller communities. So thank you for that. Could you just remind me of the second speaker's name too, to save the embarrassment on not knowing her name, please, Mr Mayor?
Ms Coates.
Ms Coates, right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, that sounds like that's the end of the comments and questions from councillors. So again, to both of our submitters for speaking here today, I thank you very much for taking that time. And as I said earlier, your comments and suggestions are duly noted, and we will endeavour to work through your submissions and see where we come out in terms of submitting the new the 2021 budget. So for those councillors who have attended, for our submitters again, thank you, and officers who have also attended, I thank you for that, and also our minute takers and those who are working with our audio on this live stream. So thank you again, and I would just declare this hearing closed.